This is a pretty complex matter. I want to make a talking point. When it comes to using these generated tools that are coming out, and the forwards-backwards system with those who can touch on it, where you don't see that a lot of these programs are being used on us in many different ways for many different reasons that could lead to negative outcomes to those who don't deserve it. And not only that, there's like much more to it though. Especially if there's like a education system that's being expanded because of it. Orchestrated lessons using AI, using, all these technology companies are being used on subjects for expansive education. And they're being studied by even religions. They're being studied by even preachers are looking into it. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to the coin when you flip the coin with it, especially when the starting point isn't exactly a good outcome for the subject. And all the agreements within the subject weren't even communicated. So this is just something I noticed, when it comes to just a bunch of cases right now that are involving use of AI to fabricate evidence. And it's just deep fake evidence that's topped on with a bunch of things that they can use that is outdated spaces, outdated timelines. It's easy to peep out someone to try this on if their timeline is a more expansive one. If it's one that can be redirected real easily. And luckily, if they catch on quick, they can touch base on this. Because we need to look back at the starting point. Are things like this evolving because something wasn't supposed to evolve? And because not only that thing that wasn't supposed to be evolved was being neglected actually, and being put into desperation situations, put into prevention tactic situations. Why would that be happening to this subject if they're not doing anything to anybody? But there's always someone seeing the whole scope of things. But a lot of things like this is not just used for education. Like I said before, it's being used for religious matters, business. It's funny too, because a lot of the times the ones who are able to kind of judge this and have your own little perception, call it an opinion, are the ones who came up with it. Now, the subject matter has become the subject matter because they didn't stick to the subject matter. And it's a real complex situation. Especially when it gets into social media, when it gets into people you are affiliated and associated with, people you do business with. So where am I coming from when I say AI, being orchestrated? They're orchestrating lessons for individuals now using AI. I don't want to get too far into it because it's real easy to pick and pluck from this, from someone who doesn't even have access to these tools. Me personally, I don't. I do remember a couple months back speaking on something like this, and it was real kind of expansive, broad, not too much into the details, right? Because I didn't really say nothing detailed. But the initiating reason behind even doing this in the first place is to create some sort of structure off of it. And if the subject matter fell off of the original program or understanding what they started, it will be taken and driven a different way from someone else, or from those who even have access to what was being spoken on. So, there's a lot of research and studies right now being done on those who are evolving, and the thing is that the person that it's being studied is really not even such a thing as like a hit or miss for them. They almost have to be the ones who redirect in this case, but direct that case. Because if it wasn't for them making that a subject matter, then there would be no subject matter. So this is all about redirection. This is all about kind of changing the plot, changing the outcome to a subject matter that was neglected, and someone else had to pick up that subject matter and still use the person who came up with that subject matter because they're the originator to it. So it's real educational. It's real expansive. You can pick and pluck from it. You can do a lot with it. But if you're not careful, it could have you definitely feeling like you've been stolen from, without a doubt. Because with studies, with analysis, with fabrications, even lies, there's going to be a lot of profit that comes from it. And if a subject matter is not profiting, then what's the point of making it a subject matter? I'm failing to believe that these studies that come out that supposedly do surveys, I truly believe that surveys are not being done like that. I believe surveys have slowed down. Paperwork surveys have slowed down. Even internet surveys aren't as much. I could be wrong, but if there are more, and if I am wrong, they are utilizing AI. And AI is drifting into being utilized for deception, lies, manipulation on subject matters where none of that was supposed to be affiliated with the original subject matter, which was education and business, not fabrications, drama, and stupid lies that people want to be a part of. Because if they're willing to do that and be involved with a narrative that's not true involving AI, they can get something out of it. And this is why we're having topics like this, where it needs to be, where it is being researched and studied, but it never should have been for that. It should have never been for fabrication. It was for all matters. Things like this even drift into like music. AI is being used for music. Things like this even drift into, entertainment and movies and shows and stuff like that. But if a subject matter is not profiting from this, then it is safe to say that the outcome is not really going in their favor, and that is what will be changed. That is not what was, quoted. So, why would this be a topic point to kind of end this? I don't want to make it too long. Because the original starting point was literally that quote. Throw a rock, hide their hand. That person was being prevented from evolving because of a hater. And they're real good at looking like they don't care. Real good looking at they're not a hater. Real good at looking like, well, who is you? I don't know who you is. Okay then. Keep going with that one then. Because it seems like someone is bothered that something didn't work to prevent expansion. There's people out there like that, yo. They are all about controlling a specific person because it's something about that person that they just gotta control. This is real stuff in this world, yo. So if you happen to be someone who knows that, you picking up what I'm putting down here. So that's what is being used and the validation in order to do that. Oh, well, it's just entertainment. Oh, well, it's just orchestration for expansions of education. This person, if there's things going around behind this person's back and they don't know, or there's people being told, well, no, this person was given that. No, they weren't. This person did not receive that. Why is the star of the show not getting the benefit? Why is the subject matter and those around not getting the benefit, but those fabricating are? And then that gets dangerous, yo. You got to do something. It gets really bad when they're like, oh, let's do a test study here. Oh, he allowed it. Let's do a test study here. Oh, he allowed it. Oh, now, okay, we can go real far with it now. And then the minute this person's like, oh, okay, you know what, let's just go ahead and do something. Now it's, we want to play nice and let's try to balance it out. Nah, man. You just didn't really know that there would actually be people who wanted you, like, actually wiped out because of a research study that involved every category of life. So it would be easier to just not care about that person at all, profit, and then sweep under the rug and fabricate and stuff like that. And this definitely can't be happening to someone who's aware of it. If that's what's going on and stuff. So, there's a lot of different more detailed ways that me personally, I could look at it, have looked at it, could have said it. But I'm going to just kind of leave that as a message right now. It doesn't have to be anything that's knowledge or something that you can take from, It's however way you want to see this as. But, not even in just what I'm saying, my fault. Not even what I'm saying. It's being used for a bunch of different other stuff too. But when there's things being fabricated, when there's and it's just so obvious too, it's just, and then it's like the Homer Simpson popping out of bushes thing. Oh, well, let me just participate because it looks like that will go in a certain way. It's just weird. So it gets really, really far down deep the longer you allow things to go on and stuff like that. And hopefully, this is just a way to examine new ways to go about, the depths with when it comes to just locating and submitting evidence. Those submitting fraudulent evidence on an individual using AI need to be held accountable. Those fabricating lies and submitting AI-generated evidence to create hallucinations need to be highly held accountable, especially if the subject matter has been restricted in many areas that was involving organization. So, you can't get too upset at someone for simply being them. So I'm going to end it there. This is something that's being looked into by psych doctors. Even down to psychiatric studies on mental illness, and kind of categorizing these topics when it comes to mental illness, and even trying to create a narrative that someone has a mental illness, especially if it seems like the subject matter is kind of not going down a more positive route. It could be safe to say that was the initiative purpose itself. Now we can verify why someone is coming this way and why it is being built off a bias that involved vulnerability. The first day of a breakup, you guys are going to decide to do a study on someone. Financial losses that were staged. Preventing individuals from financial profit, even if they want to work, in order to make these research studies happen, is not the right thing to do. In order to expand an education, a process, the subject matter will have to speak more on the subject matter. So that's it for now. Appreciate you for checking out the video.